If there is one phone out there right now that I would recommend for people who are starting out with mobile photography and want to do that on a budget with that Leica experience, I would recommend one of my all-time favorites, the Xiaomi 13 Pro. And to showcase why, let's quickly compare the Xiaomi 13 Pro with the latest Xiaomi, the Xiaomi 15 Ultra, in this shorter than normal comparison, just to showcase how good the Xiaomi 13 Pro still is when it comes to the camera. Now with the Xiaomi 15 Ultra, you're getting a 1-inch main sensor with a 23mm equivalent focal length. And with the Xiaomi 13 Pro, well, it has the same, but there is a difference in the f-stop. No variable aperture for either of them though. The Xiaomi 13 Pro sits at an f-stop of 1.9, where of course the Xiaomi 15 Ultra drops that down to an f-stop of 1.6. This does mean that more light enters the sensor on the 15 Ultra, and of course you get a little bit better depth of field. But let's step away from the technical side for a moment, because this is where I think it really matters. But let's start with the colored shots. We'll talk about black and white and Leica sepia a little bit later. Looking at the images side by side, the results are surprisingly close. Yes, the 15 Ultra appears slightly brighter, but the color contrast nearly identical. And in the shadows you will actually find a little bit more depth in the Xiaomi 13 Pro, which I really like. In some cases, highlight control can flip between the two in which performs better. You will see that with these shots being compared. And that's why if someone asks me a phone for photography, and especially on a budget, I often still say that the Xiaomi 13 Pro is one of those that I can easily recommend. It carries a lot of the same DNA that you will find on the Xiaomi 15 Ultra because of their collaboration with Leica. That same philosophy carries to the Telephoto as well. Sure, it's smaller than the 15 Ultra on the Xiaomi 13 Pro, but it is zoomed in a little bit more. And more importantly, it still holds up really well. It doesn't over-sharpen the way newer models tend to do. And that restraint actually makes the shots feel a little bit more natural. Again, the color profile between the two are remarkably close. Look at the skies though, the 13 Pro pushes for a little bit more contrast in that sky. But it still delivers some amazing quality shots. And if you are trying to save money, it's absolutely worth considering. When it comes to portraits, Xiaomi has been struggling a lot lately. When it comes to the release of the 14 Ultra and the 15 Ultra, we've seen inconsistencies, especially with the 14 Ultra, both in its performance and overall look. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be that way, because the Xiaomi 13 Pro was really capable of capturing some amazing portraits. It had a more natural look, richer, cleaner blacks, and just an overall better shot. Some of the best portraits I've taken were on the Xiaomi 13 Pro. While I can get some pretty solid shots on the 15 Ultra in portrait mode, the Xiaomi 13 Pro has consistently been better at taking portrait shots than both the 15 Ultra and 14 Ultra in all the times I've used them. Now this is not down to lighting or the environment, it's down to one thing: better processing. Simple as that. And it's not down to just the contrast, but also especially down to skin tones. Now we're gonna go back to the telephoto again, because this isn't just for the zoom. One thing it was really good at is those great flower shots, be it for macro or simply the whole flower. and while the saturation can get a little bit intense, especially with the Xiaomi 13 Pro, it can still compete against the Xiaomi 15 Ultra. In some cases, even beat it, with again better highlight control and a more natural color handling. That telephoto on the Xiaomi 13 Pro is no joke. Now, one area where I think that the Xiaomi 13 Pro falls a little bit short is the ultra-wide lens. It over sharpens more often than I'd like it to do, and it can really impact the overall mood. That said, I do enjoy the moodier contrast it brings. I just wish it would ease off on that sharpness. If it did, I might even prefer those deeper shadows and more contrasty shots on the Xiaomi 13 Pro. But now, let's talk about something I deeply care about. Black and white photography and Leica sepia. Both the Xiaomi 13 Pro and 15 Ultra absolutely shine here. In fact, I'd go as far as say that Xiaomi in general does have the best black and white photography on any phone. It's the deep shadows, the contrast, the way that the black and whites are separated with that intention behind it. On my channel, I often of course focus on colored shots, but black and white, those are some of my favorite shots to take, especially in my city of Arnhem. A place that has a lot of older buildings with a lot of charms, and I do hope that we never lose that in this kind of place. Shots like these inspire me, modern buildings really don't. And with both the Xiaomi 13 Pro and 15 Ultra, black and white and sepia are really a joy to shoot with. And I think that the Xiaomi 13 Pro really holds up today. For recording 4K 60 frames per second. Downside is, with the Xiaomi 13 Pro you cannot use the different focal lengths, where with the Xiaomi 15 Ultra you can. So that's a big difference, and if that matters to you, actually, well, you're missing out on that one when it comes to the Xiaomi 13 Pro. So let's switch to the ultra wide manually. Ultra wide, 4K 60 frames per second. On both. On Xiaomi, things seem a lot sharper. Maybe a little bit too much, but I actually like the exposure better on the 13 Pro here on this wall. I actually think here the blue sign is better managed again on the Xiaomi 13 Pro. Very interesting this. So in this day and age, Xiaomi refused to give us 4K resolution, but also it is limited to 1080p at 30 frames per second. Now for myself, I really don't mind that much, but it is a difference in resolution and of course frames per second as well. At the end of this video, I'm not saying that the Xiaomi 13 Pro beats the Xiaomi 15 Ultra. There are clear moments where the Xiaomi 15 Ultra will have an advantage, like of course the zoom capabilities and of course allowing you to switch to different focal lengths while video recording. But with that being said, the Xiaomi 13 Pro doesn't lose by much. There are moments where it actually wins over the Xiaomi 15 Ultra, simply because of, for instance, better dynamic range or better exposure in, for instance, video as well. Again, this depends on the shot and the situation, but there are moments where the Xiaomi 13 Pro performs better. Either way, I do hope that you enjoyed this shorter than normal comparison between the Xiaomi 13 Pro and the Xiaomi 15 Ultra. The video idea behind this is to showcase that you don't always need the latest and greatest, because simply put, phones like the Xiaomi 15 Ultra are truly expensive, and saving money on getting something like the Xiaomi 13 Pro will really help you out, getting great results while saving you some money in the pocket. Now before we leave, I really want to thank my members as well. Thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it, so thank you so much. And of course, if you want to become a member, you can by clicking join somewhere below. And while you're down there and you aren't subscribed yet, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, interact, watch it in full length. It really helps out a channel like mine. Either way, hope you enjoyed this video and talk to you guys in the next.